Manny Pacquiao, once the pride of the Philippines and one of the most dominant forces in boxing history, is a name that echoes through the annals of sports. From his humble beginnings in General Santos City to becoming the first and only 8-division world champion, Pacquiao's rise to fame was nothing short of extraordinary. He electrified audiences with his lightning-fast footwork, ferocious power, and undeniable heart, winning fans worldwide. But today, at 46 years old, the once untouchable champion faces a different kind of fight, a battle against time, politics, and personal struggles. Once a hero who gave everything for his country, Pacquiao now lives in the shadows of his former glory, navigating financial troubles, political controversies, and health challenges. This is the tragic story of Manny Pacquiao, a man who gave everything to boxing and his people, but now faces a life that few could have foreseen. Born on December 17, 1978, Manny Pacquiao came into the world in the slums of General Santos City in the Philippines, where poverty was the reality and survival was a daily struggle. His father abandoned the family when Manny was just a child, leaving his mother to raise him and his 7 siblings alone. Living in extreme poverty, Manny's childhood was anything but easy. His family often had to make do with very little, and they struggled to put food on the table. Despite these hardships, Manny always dreamed of a better life, one that would allow him to escape the cycle of poverty and provide for his family. At the age of 14, Manny's life would take a turn that would change everything. In search of a way to escape his dire circumstances, he walked into a local gym and discovered boxing. It was here that he met his first coach, and it was here that the young, determined Manny began to forge his path. The talented teenager caught the eye of Filipino boxing great Freddie Roach, who would later become a pivotal figure in his career. Manny quickly began to build a reputation in the amateur boxing circuit, and by the age of 16, he turned professional, fighting in small venues and earning modest pay. But it wasn't long before Pacquiao's raw power and incredible work ethic began to pay off. By 1995, at the age of 17, he captured his first world title, the WBC Flyweight Championship, becoming the youngest boxer from the Philippines to win a world title. His rise was meteoric, and he wasn't just a champion in the Philippines, he became a force to be reckoned with internationally. Pacquiao's speed, strength, and relentless fighting style made him a nightmare for opponents, and soon enough, the world was taking notice. Manny Pacquiao's ascent to global boxing stardom was nothing short of revolutionary. By 2000, Pacquiao was already well on his way to becoming a household name, having quickly earned multiple world titles in the flyweight and bantamweight divisions. But it was his match against Marco Antonio Barrera in 2003 that truly cemented his place as one of boxing's future greats. The fight was billed as a clash of titans with Barrera, a seasoned champion being widely favored to win. But Pacquiao, fueled by sheer hunger and determination, put on a masterful performance, dominating Barrera in a unanimous decision victory. The win was a statement. Manny Pacquiao was a force to be reckoned with, and he had just begun to scratch the surface of his potential. Following his victory over Barrera, Pacquiao went on to become an international sensation. His speed, power, and relentless pursuit of victory made him a beloved figure, not just in the Philippines, but around the world. He continued to climb through the ranks, defeating some of the best names in boxing, including the likes of Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and David Diaz. Each victory was more than just a win. It was a statement that Manny Pacquiao was one of the most electrifying and dynamic fighters in the sport. His legendary battles with other boxing greats like Oscar de la Hoya and Miguel Cotto helped elevate Pacquiao into a global icon. Perhaps his most defining moment came in 2008, when he faced the highly skilled and experienced Oscar de la Hoya. Pacquiao, a smaller fighter, was not supposed to win. De La Hoya had the size, the reach, and the experience to outmatch him. But Pacquiao's unmatched speed, agility, and explosive power proved too much for De La Hoya, and the fight ended in a stunning 8th-round stoppage. It was the kind of performance that not only showcased Pacquiao's brilliance, but also marked him as a legitimate pound-for-pound contender in boxing's history. By the time Manny Pacquiao reached the height of his career, he had already become an international sensation. With his dazzling footwork, unorthodox fighting style, and deadly punches, he mesmerized fans all over the world. Pacquiao wasn't just a boxer, he was a symbol of hope for his country, and a living legend in the sport. His battles in the ring were nothing short of epic, with each fight building on the last to solidify his reputation as one of the greatest to ever step into the ring. The highlight of Pacquiao's career came during his legendary matchups with fighters like Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, and Shane Mosley. His fight with Marquez in 2012 was a defining moment in boxing history, with the two fighters battling for supremacy in the sport. Though the fight ended in a controversial draw, Pacquiao's resilience and heart shone through, leaving fans in awe of his unyielding spirit. In the late 2000s and early 2010, Pacquiao's global popularity reached unparalleled heights. He was a pay-per-view sensation, filling arenas with fans eager to see him fight. He dominated across multiple weight divisions, making him the first fighter to win world titles in 8 different classes, a record that no one had ever achieved before. With each victory, he not only solidified his legacy as one of boxing's greatest champions, but also transcended the sport to become a cultural icon. Pacquiao's success was not just limited to the ring, he also became a philanthropist, using his newfound wealth and fame to give back to his country. He built schools, hospitals, and charitable organizations, becoming a symbol of hope for millions of Filipinos. The Pac-Man was more than just a fighter, he was a hero, and he carried the pride of the Philippines on his shoulders, both inside and outside the ring. But despite his success, Pacquiao's rise to glory was not without its challenges. As his fame grew, so did the demands of fame, fortune, and public life. The pressure to constantly perform at the highest level, coupled with the toll of years of intense boxing matches, would eventually catch up with him. Nonetheless, during this golden era, Pacquiao seemed unstoppable, a true force of nature that could not be tamed. His legacy, however, was about to face an inevitable shift. As with every great champion, the time comes when the body begins to break down under the weight of years of punishment. For Manny Pacquiao, that moment arrived slowly but unmistakably. After years of dominating the sport, Pacquiao began to show signs of physical wear and tear. Despite his status as one of the greatest of all time, his body could only endure so much. His speed, once unmatched, began to slow, and the damage from countless battles inside the ring started to take its toll. Chronic injuries to his shoulders, knees, and hands were just the beginning. In 2016, after a controversial loss to Timothy Bradley, Pacquiao hinted at retirement. Fans wondered if the Pac-Man, who had given so much to the sport, could continue to perform at the elite level that made him an icon. Despite these doubts, Pacquiao would return to the ring multiple times, each comeback fueled by both pride and a need to prove that he still had what it took to compete with the best. However, his retirement became official after his 2019 win over Keith Thurman. At 40 years old, Pacquiao seemed to have one last hurrah, defeating Thurman to claim the WBA welterweight title in a thrilling fight that reminded the world of his brilliance. But after that victory, Pacquiao made the decision to retire from boxing. An era had come to a close. While he left the ring as a champion, the transition from the boxing world was far from seamless. The public largely moved on from his fighting career, and Pacquiao faced a new, more uncertain future. Manny Pacquiao's next chapter wasn't one of quiet retirement. It was marked by his leap into politics. Pacquiao entered the political arena with the same passion he brought to boxing, eager to serve the Filipino people. In 2010, he was elected to the Philippine House of Representatives, and in 2016, he became a senator. His decision to enter politics was met with both admiration and skepticism. While his boxing career had made him a hero, many questioned whether he had the political acumen to succeed in the often cutthroat world of Philippine politics. As a senator, Pacquiao took on various issues, focusing on poverty alleviation, education, and health care. But his political career wasn't without controversy. His stances on certain social issues, such as his opposition to same-sex marriage, ignited public outrage. These comments, combined with other controversial statements, often overshadowed his legislative work. Despite his political ambition, Pacquiao's reputation began to falter, especially as his stance on issues such as LGBTQ rights clashed with the growing global movement for equality. In 2022, Pacquiao made his most ambitious political move yet. He ran for president of the Philippines. His campaign, however, was riddled with challenges. Pacquiao's political inexperience was evident, and despite his fame, his platform failed to resonate with many voters. He lost the presidential race to Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the son of the infamous dictator, and the defeat marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in his political journey. The loss was a blow to Pacquiao's ego, and the once great champion found himself unable to replicate his boxing success in the political arena. Manny Pacquiao's financial journey mirrors that of many athletes who rise to the top, only to face the harsh reality of managing vast fortunes. Despite earning over $500 million throughout his boxing career, Pacquiao's financial situation began to deteriorate. As a generous man, he gave freely to friends, family, and charitable causes. But while he was quick to share his wealth, he wasn't always prudent with his spending. Pacquiao's lavish lifestyle, complete with expensive cars, luxury homes, and extravagant gifts, became a symbol of both his success and his eventual downfall. One of the key reasons for Pacquiao's financial struggles was his lack of financial education. He trusted advisors and family members who often mismanaged his wealth. The result was a series of poor investments, including some in real estate and businesses that failed to yield returns. By 2012, Pacquiao had already filed for bankruptcy in the Philippines, listing significant debts, including back taxes and medical bills. Despite his massive earnings, Pacquiao found himself over $20 million in debt. His financial woes became even more pronounced after his boxing career ended. Pacquiao's move into politics, which could have been a lucrative post-boxing career, brought its own set of challenges. The cost of campaigning and the demands of political life drained his resources. His costly presidential campaign in 2022 led to accusations of financial mismanagement, and although he won some smaller political victories, the losses in his personal finances were mounting. By the end of his political career, Pacquiao was no longer the wealthiest athlete in the world. Instead, he was a man struggling to maintain his former lifestyle. Despite these setbacks, Pacquiao remains beloved by many for his contributions to his country. Yet, the truth of his financial struggles serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly fortune can turn for even the greatest of champions. Manny Pacquiao's fight in the ring took a significant toll on his body. After nearly 70 professional bouts, the wear and tear was inevitable. The damage caused by years of brutal punches, especially to the head, has left lasting marks. Pacquiao, once known for his quickness and sharp reflexes, began to experience physical and neurological issues that are often seen in fighters who have been in the ring for decades. In recent years, Pacquiao has struggled with injuries that affect his daily life. His knees, shoulders, and hands, once crucial to his explosive power and speed, have started to deteriorate, While some of these injuries are a result of his boxing career, others stem from the intense training regimens he maintained even into his 40s. Over time, Pacquiao's movements have become slower, and the once vibrant fighter now requires assistance when walking long distances, often leaning on a cane to support himself. What's even more concerning is the potential neurological damage from repeated blows to the head. There are signs of cognitive decline, including memory loss, slowed speech, and difficulty with concentration. Fans who once saw Pacquiao as an unstoppable force now see a man who struggles to remember the dates of his greatest victories or even the names of some of his former opponents. These signs suggest the possibility of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a condition caused by repeated head trauma that can lead to severe mental health and physical problems. The physical toll on Pacquiao's body has made retirement even more of a necessity. Despite his bravado and pride, Manny has acknowledged that his body simply can't handle the intensity of his former boxing career. The man who once threw thousands of punches with lightning speed now faces a different fight, one where he's battling his own body's slow decline. Despite his current struggles, Manny Pacquiao's legacy as one of the greatest boxers of all time remains undeniable. His name is etched in boxing history as the first and only 8-division world champion, and his thrilling matches against iconic opponents like Juan Manuel Marquez, Oscar de la Hoya, and Miguel Cotto will be remembered forever. His legacy transcends his victories in the ring. Pacquiao's journey from poverty to becoming a global icon serves as a symbol of hope for millions, especially in his home country of the Philippines. Though his physical and financial challenges are clear, Pacquiao is still celebrated by boxing fans worldwide. His fights are still discussed in gyms, with trainers using clips of his devastating punches and relentless work ethic to inspire the next generation of fighters. Even in his current state, Pacquiao's influence is seen in the way aspiring boxers approach the sport. His legacy is also preserved through charitable efforts and the countless Filipinos whose lives he changed with his contributions to his homeland. However, as the years pass, it is evident that the world has largely moved on from the hero who once filled arenas. Pacquiao no longer commands the headlines like he once did, and his name is rarely mentioned in the same breath as boxing's current stars. The modern world seems to have forgotten the man who was once the face of boxing, overshadowed by newer stars who have taken his place in the media and in the ring. Still, for the true boxing fan, Manny Pacquiao remains a legend, a fighter who faced the greatest in the world and emerged victorious, a testament to grit, determination, and heart. Yet, as the world shifts, there are moments when Pacquiao still gets to relive his glory days. He continues to receive recognition, such as his 2012 induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, where his peers and fans celebrated his unparalleled achievements. But despite these moments of recognition, the boxing world has largely moved on, leaving Pacquiao's legacy to fade quietly into the background. For those who remember, however, his legacy is immortal. As Manny Pacquiao enters his 40s, a new kind of fight unfolds, not one in the boxing ring, but in the fight for peace, self-acceptance, and the search for meaning beyond the roar of the crowd. With his boxing career behind him, Manny has found himself grappling with the reality of life after sport. The accolades and titles that once defined him have given way to a quieter existence, filled with personal challenges that many never saw coming. In many ways, Pacquiao's retirement has not been the graceful transition that fans hoped for. He struggled to find his place in the world outside of boxing and politics. His presidential run, while ambitious, ended in defeat, leading him to reconsider his future. As he faces aging, health complications, and financial difficulties, Pacquiao is coming to terms with the fact that he no longer holds the same place in the spotlight. The fighter who once graced the biggest arenas in the world is now an older man with a broken body, fighting to find peace in his later years. But what stands out most about Manny Pacquiao is his refusal to give up. The warrior spirit that made him a legend still burns inside, even as he faces new battles that have nothing to do with boxing. He continues to work for the people of the Philippines, even if the rewards are no longer as great as they once were. His efforts to improve his country through politics, despite the setbacks, show his desire to leave a lasting impact. Pacquiao has learned that, like boxing, life is not just about the victories. It's about standing up after each fall, finding meaning in what remains, and accepting that life doesn't always follow a fairy tale script. As he navigates his personal and professional challenges, the Pac-Man is finding peace in the quieter moments, understanding that his true victory lies in his ability to endure and grow.